Again, we have the howitzer from the front of NTD's base being used here. Again, here comes this this infantry. God, look at that howitzer go off. It is so cool. We just had another infantry assault group be called in right here by Joe. So Joe is definitely doing blitzkrieg-y stuff. Again, we've got flame strikes going on behind this position here, trying to do some damage. The infantry, very important to keep the infantry moving up here because they are, of course, what captures everything. Also, they kind of soak up some damage. Boom! Look at that shot! Look at how beautiful that looks. The Stew just taking one shot, wrecks a humongous hole in this building here, and now the Stew is threatening to take care of this building. He's got a slow line of fire, even just like random sniper, like picking off guy right there. I mean, there's so much action going on during these games right now. So obviously, what's happened, the net result of all of this is that the Axis have a massive attack right now that's putting a lot of pressure on basically this forward barracks right now. The Panther is moving in to put some pressure on some of these wounded Shermans. Both of these Shermans very wounded. This is Neubine's Panther. Neubine, by the way, who was making anti-tank guns earlier, now has a Panzer Command up. And I'm not sure why he backed away from that, honestly. He could have kind of pursued that a little bit further here. Or at the very least, he could be helping out take out this building, which is at a sliver of health. And is he going to take out the building? The Calliope's coming in all around him. He took out the medic tent and a medic. That's looking pretty good, but it looks like he's going to be forced to retreat for the time being, and this building is just barely going to hang on here. So, unfortunately, I'm not sure if they were totally aware how beat up that building is, and what the hell is this M8 Greyhound doing up here? I have no idea how he got up here or what. He is definitely way behind enemy lines for the time being. There's some stuff he could be doing. You can see he's kind of shooting up some troops, but he doesn't have a 50 caliber machine gunner. Hopefully we'll see, yes, we're going to see him drop some Greyhound mines. This is a nice crossroad to do that, so I'm sure if I take my eyes off that, we'll come back later and we'll see a big crater there. But that's a great place to put stuff. And now the howitzer is just continuing to fire out of NTD's base. Note, by the way, what Joe has done back here is he's built a bunker and upgraded it to be a repair bunker. And what is that lovely sound I hear? That is the gentle jingle of a bunch of Thompson submachine guns. NTD, who has gone infantry, has got some rangers in the field right now. These guys are nicely upgraded. However, they are getting shot in the face with howitzers. They do have double bazookas and Tommy guns, Thompson submachine guns. And just look, I can't even keep up with the amount of action here. I hope you guys are just enjoying what this looks like on camera, because these are truly, truly really fun replays to watch when all this stuff happens here. And Jesus Christ, look at this M8 armored Greyhound here. This Greyhound is coming all the way in. He's dropping a Greyhound mine in front of this base, and now he's sitting there. That is really, really annoying because whoever leaves that building first is going to die. I think Neubine is trying to save his sniper by building a brand new... Yeah, look at this. Boom! He just walked it right on top there. Oh, I hope his sniper made it out of there. No, maybe not. I think that sniper actually died. That's unfortunate. I'm focusing on that detail a little bit too much there. But yeah, the Greyhound mine is ridiculously powerful. It's kind of like a Teller mine, except for it affects everybody. It's just a big mine. Okay, so let's take a look at the allies here. Allies, we've got 3 Shermans out there right now. 2 Shermans and a Calliope. 2 Calliopes. 2 Shermans and 2 Calliopes there. I'm going to stick with that as my final answer. Double Calliope barrage. Now, double Calliope barrage at the same time is a little risky. I, for one, I played as armor commander a lot. That was my favorite discipline. And I love to stagger my Calliope shots because your enemy never knows when they're safe. If you fire 2 Calliopes at the same time, they know that they can counterattack you right then because it's going to be a while before you can support them. We can see, again, howitzer shots landing in all over the place right now. We have 2 Panthers on the field right now for Neubine. Neubine has also been using his veterancy, having Vet 2 right now. Vet 2 is actually fantastic for Panthers. Panthers' biggest weakness is that they can't do a lot versus infantry, but at Vet 2, you can see here they have these MG42 machine gunners on them. Much more useful at just kind of mowing down random riflemen who try and sticky bomb them. Full retreat right now from the Shermans. This Sherman's looking kind of healthy. These Shermans, by the way, have long barrels. Not this one, though, because it just got blown off. They have the long barrel upgrade, making them a little bit more effective against armor. But we do have quite a blitzkrieg attack coming from the Terror Commander. The blitzkrieg commander, however, is just kind of off here in the north. It looks like he's dealing with a bunch of riflemen right now who are just kind of pushing into his territory right now. He's got a combination of sniper and, yeah, it looks like he's going to be fine. I want to watch this little fight going on down here. And it looks like the Panther actually was taken out by that Sherman. We do have troops kind of moving around here trying to pick off what with using these anti-tank guns. I believe there is an anti-tank gun that got wrecked there as well. Panther being forced to retreat here. It was a pretty good attack. I think it's always important, especially in team games, whenever you have control over the map. You can see that right now the Germans are just about... Oh, no! I was just about to say they were about to have control over the middle right now. Unfortunately, though, Calliope barrage just going to utterly dominate that. I liked... Good thing he only used 1 Calliope there, though. I was going to say it's very important to make sure that you fight on the other team's territory because you want them to take losses defending their own stuff. And already we have an armored assault force available here for Joe as well, meaning we could see a Tiger on the field, the largest, well, one of the largest Axis vehicles out there. Stuff is looking pretty hard to tell, though, honestly. We can see that the Allies are at 205 points with 1 victory point, and the Germans are at 300 points with 1 victory point. Man, just look at these howitzer shots just kind of raining in here right now. Just total chaos. I really love that. The Rangers right now are kind of sticking it out here in no man's land, and bam, here's our Tiger. Let's take a look at this thing. Tiger is just a monster. Looking at the profile of it, you really get an idea how big that thing is, especially next to a person. Humongous tank right there, moving out for the Allies. And unfortunately, in Company of Heroes Online, armored players, I think that whole squad of Rangers were just lost right there by a very lucky shot from that armored car. In Company of Heroes Online, armored commanders could spend points to make their Sherman Calliopes behave exactly like Shermans in terms of speed and rate of fire from their main gun. Unfortunately, that's not available here, so the Shermans just kind of, or the Calliopes just kind of have a machine gun, and that's it. Oh no! Anti-tank guns being picked off here. Good to see that the Pumas are still being used late game. Notice that Puma is actively hunting around for these snipers, but it has a very low detection range here. The Calliopes just kind of wrecking this place here. Again, that was a double Calliope barrage. I think that's a little wasteful. At the very least, fire with one barrage, see where he scatters to, and then fire with the second barrage. It's usually kind of greedy to hope you can just wreck everybody. Obviously, situationally, it can be really good. So now we have a little bit of a standoff here. You can see that the stormtroopers are cloaked, snipers are cloaked, each looking for the other one. Snipers see them right now, and unfortunately, it looks like the snipers are just going to retreat right away. Maybe could have tried to take some point-blank shots, but just going to have to get out of there. Look at that Stu just totally wrecking that anti-tank gun. This Stu here is just going to take some more shots at the infantry right now. And a really tricky position right now. The Allies are just getting really beaten back. This is when you need to start worrying. In team games, it always felt sort of unfair that the end game position for Germans was lots of Vet 3 tanks. And I like that, though, that the Germans have much better tanks, because historically that's pretty accurate. German tanks were phenomenally effective, whereas the Allied tanks were cheap and easy to produce. And that was why they were so effective. But looking around here, my God, I got to pause this right now and appreciate this situation here. So NTD has been building M10 tank destroyers for a little while now. Looks like he only has 2, but this is a great position here. I think he had been holding them in reserve, and now he's flanking with them. This is exactly how you want to use M10 tank destroyers. I'm going to unpause the game, though, and let it keep moving. This is a nice long game, by the way. And so now, with 2 M10s flanking a Tiger, there's not a lot a Tiger can do. Obviously, these are 2 very weak tanks here, but you can see even just being backed up by the Shermans, the M10s here are just going to continue wrecking away. However, unfortunately, some Panzer Shreks and a Panther are going to take out one of them. I think it actually took out the one that killed him, because there's no veterancy on this M10 tank destroyer here. Looks like this anti-tank gun, again, annihilated. It looked like some of the Pioneers actually tried to pick that thing up and get away with it. So the Tiger goes down, though. That's huge. And again, some supporting artillery fire here by that howitzer. The howitzer shot being used by NTD. Good at kind of keeping the Stu away. And the Panthers are backing away. Note what's going on here now, too. This kind of stuff late game, very effective. Notice that it looks like MrMojo Rising has got quite a bit of, man, Calliope. Let me just appreciate some Calliope here. Calliope doing a lot of damage to that Stu. MrMojo Rising continues to keep good tabs on his riflemen. His riflemen are fairly well upgraded as well, so they'll get some good veterancy. And he's just going to keep pressing into enemy territory here to cap onto that. So you can see simultaneous caps happening on both sides of the field, both by MrMojo Rising right now. Going to cap 2 victory points to 0 since the central victory. I mean, look at how obliterated this is. You know, like, rewind back to minute 1 of the game when I was looking at this point here, and you'll notice that, like, it is just completely scorched and barren. There's no cover anymore. This is why it's very hard to kind of capture this point late game. You're extremely exposed every time you do it. I do love the fact that NTD has got these double snipers kind of moving around here in no man's land. We'll see a Rifleman squad trying its best to cap the center point right now. They just need to hold on for a few moments, but obviously any sort of artillery or anything could do damage to them. But I do not believe that the Wehrmacht has got control over them. So yes, they're going to be able to cap that. The cap up top did not succeed, but that's fine. And now we have 138 points for the Allies, 290 points for the Axis, and the game continues. We still have Panthers kind of moving around doing their thing. I'm going to take a look. We've been watching Joe for some time. Let's take a quick peek here at neubine. We can see that neubine does have propaganda war, firestorm, so he likely has access to a King Tiger. We'll have to see if we're going to see a King Tiger or anything like that, but he does have the full tree there for for the terror abilities. And now I'm going to jump back to NTD's point of view because we haven't really watched him much lately. We can see he's got Rangers, howitzer shots, and the off-map combat group, which I haven't kept track of at all. Again, we see this double Calliope barrage here. I think that's a little greedy. He did prevent the capture of the point, though, which is great. But again, I've said this a million times, but I like to stagger my Calliopes just because, you know, just because you always want to have that as a resource available. Looking around here, we can see that NTD is moving around with his last remaining tank. And here we have it. Okay, so now he is using that off-map combat group, I believe is what that was. Yeah, off-map combat group. Was lucky enough to provide him with another M10, so that ought to help him out quite a bit in terms of having a very useful strategy, by the way, is just to get, like, you know, a couple, 2 or 3 M10s, and just flood them in out of nowhere, but save them up. Don't just have them wandering on the battlefield. They're really only useful when they just instantaneously flank a wounded armor group that doesn't expect it. We can see this Vet 2 Sherman is out here right now, taking some random hits from this Vet 2 Panther. A couple of Panthers out there right now. Really, really dangerous position, and not a lot of anti-tank stuff out there. We've seen a lot of failed anti-tanks, but now we do get to see these M10s, but unfortunately M10s right now being jacked by a whole bunch of stormtroopers with Panzerschrecks. That is not good for them. They are definitely ineffective versus those units. Looks like that Sherman was completely taken out right there. And now the double M10s are trying their best to kind of do some damage to these Panthers, but really they need flanks to be ridiculously effective. Taking a look around, looking more towards the middle, we can see this Stu is continuing to be useful. Vet 2 Stu now has an MG42 gunner. Pretty awesome. And just look at that thing go to town against these Rangers. These Rangers are braving no man's land. You can see barely any cover around here. They're trying their best to take yellow cover wherever they can find it. Unfortunately, though, that Stu just does so much damage here versus infantry. Calliope shots raining down up here as well. We can see, by the way, nice medic bunker up there. Unfortunately, not a lot of fighting has happened up there, so it hasn't got too much use. But we can see that these guys are continuing to be awesome. I believe that is a sticky bomb being thrown onto that, damaging the engine. And man, just barely getting out of there. Tremendous, tremendous casualties for the Allies. The Allies are sticking with a lot of infantry late game, which is quite difficult for them because there's just so much stuff out here that murders infantry. You can definitely take on lots of armor with lots of infantry. It's just hard because you end up having to do it in humongous waves and things like that. There's yet another off-map combat group and yet another awesome lucky draw there with the M10 tank destroyer, giving NTD a nice little tank hunting crew now if he's going to so choose to do that. We can see that the Tiger has been called in once again by Joe. And here we go. Here is the King Tiger out there right now. King Tiger, another phenomenal looking tank out there. Really, really big tank. So 2 humongous Tigers on the battlefield right now. You can see being a little bit apprehensive with his M10 anti-tanks here. And it looks like going to lead the charge right now with a bunch of Panthers. So we've got Panthers moving in, backed up by double Tigers right now. Big old armor clash happening on this side of the map. We'll have to see, though. A couple of howitzer shots and Calliopes could rain in here and do some damage. Yep, you can see that howitzer is being fired from NTD's base. You can see the projectile has a little ballistic path about it. One interesting thing to note is that this Tiger looks like a building on the minimap. It's actually a square. I don't know why that's true, but it was the same way in Company of Heroes Online. But it looks like that attack has just kind of fizzled. Both armies kind of moved away from it. And there we have the Calliope being called down across all of these guys here. And just massive, massive destruction happening throughout the middle here. Still no idea really who's in charge of this map right now. It's still tied 1-1. By the way, it's worth noting that there were 2 separate turrets originally used on the Tigers. This is known as the Porsche turret, I believe, the Porsche turret, something like that. This was the first design of this tank, and they found out later on that it had a couple of shot traps on it, meaning that bullets would come in from the front and deflect off of this rounded surface here and go straight down into the cabin and kill people. So they later made this have a flat surface on the front, but they still took the rounded sides and all that sort of stuff. Kind of interesting little mechanics there, but I love seeing King Tigers out there on the battlefield right now. So, what the hell is going on? We have just massive German armor out there. It's kind of the theme of the German army right now. The Allies really need some way of dealing with that. You can see that they keep trying to have anti-tank guns on the field. The anti-tank guns, as you can see by all of this anti-tank gun litter that's just kind of all over the battlefield right now, not having a ton of luck there. Here is yet another anti-tank gun taking some shots. And meanwhile, up north, we can see just kind of a lot of infantry and stuff. Again, trying to reposition these anti-tank guns, but really not going to have any luck versus the King Tiger right there. Really just trying to retreat right now, but honestly, if they take one casualty, oh god, the horror, dragging their dead comrade stuck under the front wheel there. Oh man, I love this game. It's just the random crap like that. It just happens to look kind of real. The struggles here.